Today's Sunday, it's the 9th of March, it's 2025, and
very windy.
We're at the top of the hill. We're in Capdepera, and we're just going to visit the castle. There's the castle door behind us, and a magnificent view over the town below. First of all, we've got to pay, and it's card only, €3. Well, we've paid our €3 subscription, and we come in. This is the house of the Signora, the lady. And just through here, we're in a little bit of an archaeological place of interest. And some areas roped off because they're a little bit dangerous, and good to know there's a toilet 80 metres up there. And we've been given a little guide, and she asked us what language, so we have one in English. And there are a few other visitors as we've walked up. We've met
Ruth and Will from the USA.
From China. So living in the USA now, but originally from Beijing. Look at those walls. So this is the castle of Capdepera. We're going to make our way up to the baños, the toilets, first of all. Very steep. Nothing easy here, and parking was a little bit of a tricky one as well. We did find a public car park, parked up, and then walked through the village. It's a Sunday, so nothing much is open. And we're at a really high spot around the area. There's antennas up on that one. Looks like you might even have a helipad on the top of there. Up and up we go. I guess if we get to the top, we can make it a more leisurely walk down. There are handrails, but this is really climbing. Little museum with an exhibition. We'll catch that again on the way down. Aha! And there it is.
You're going to stay here?
Well, conveniently, the guide that we've been given actually starts at this highest point, or more almost the highest point. And with the tower that's right in front of us, this tower dates back to the 10th and to 12th centuries. It's one of these lookout towers, and it was actually used as a mill later on in the 19th century. We'll go and have a look in there. As you can see, the terrain is very rough, so I've got my hiking boots on. I'm going to make my way up here, watching my step all the way. It's not raining properly, but it's certainly spotting a little bit, and it's as all the time we've been up on this east coast, it's been very windy. It's still very windy here. So, defence tower dating back to the Muslim 10th to 12th centuries, located at a strategic point, which is more or less the highest point on the hill, and this dominated the view over to Minorca. So I'm not sure we're going to see very much of Minorca on a day like today. We'll have a look. Got a square base on the round tower, and well, Anita's sheltering in there. It's not giving us much shelter. Just have a little look inside. It's all chained off at the moment, so we can't go in, but you can see the stairs, the stone staircase that would take you up to the lookout point at the top, so you can keep an eye out. I'm going to carry on now, just around the back, try and shelter a little bit out of the wind, and we're going up onto what is the highest point now. It's the roof of the chapel. Chapel would have dated back a little bit more recently, and because it's a castle fortress, we have actually got a well here. I guess they were collecting water. It's not a real well. So this is the water tank, and that was built in the 14th century. It was one of the first parts of the complex to have been built. It stored rainwater, which was vital for the supply of the population in the event of a siege. The visible part of the tank is the rim parapet through which the water was drawn out. It's just gone up a bit further, so let's get up here. A few steps. Thank you. And now we start to see this magnificent view. Let's see why it was built here. Whoa. But as we guessed, you can't really see Minorca. You can see another hill over there which has got another one of these lookout towers. And they'll be able to send signals to each other. And that's the tower we've just been looking at. And here we've got the chapel. And we can actually go onto the roof terrace of the chapel. So in 1231, 2 years after conquering Mallorca, King Jaume I visited Capdepera with the aim of conquering Minorca. To ensure the Arabs' submission, he thought up the following ruse. One night he had fires lit all over 300 points along the hilltop, so that they seemed to be preparing a great army. When these were seen from the neighbouring islands, messengers informed the Saracens that this was the Christian king who was getting ready to invade Minorca. The operation was repeated in several evenings until the Saracens agreed to sign the document, in which they submitted to the authority of King Jaume I, who thus ensured the Muslim capitulation with no bloodshed. This document is known as the Capdepera Treaty, and is thought to be the oldest peace treaty still kept today. Wow, 800 years old. And over on this side is the bells. We've just heard some bells ringing from the church down below. And here you can actually ring the bells. And I think we came with some children last time, and they did enjoy ringing the bells. So the defence system of the territory along the coast of Capdepera, there used to be a chain of watchtowers which were built between the 12th and 16th centuries. The earliest of these buildings have disappeared, and the towers that we can see today were built in the 16th century. The system of signals and codes consisted in linking a number of warnings and passed on from tower to tower and from place to place where the enemy were first seen and sighted. in the direction of the city of Mallorca in order to organise its defence and send help out at any point on the island which was requiring it and in need of being attacked. In the 16th and 17th century, optical signals were made with smoke by day and fire by night. So on the tops of some of these hills there would be more towers. The only one I can actually see is right over that way.
And I think from here you can see just how good the roads are down here now as well.
Beautiful, yeah, the roads are very good here.
And to ring this bell.
And when I've done a report today about the overcrowding in Mallorca. Anita's going to get in trouble there. She's ringing the bell. Different sounds.
So where's that?
There's a big water tank over there, a big reservoir. I guess that's for the fields down below. We're looking up to Baleares Jarda up there somewhere. There's a bell. Oh, there's the watchtower. Right in the middle there, right at the corner, there's a steel pole, and that's a lightning rod, lightning conductor.
Is that 14th century?
I don't think that's 14th century. That's a modern thing, but it's very important because it's a high point here, and we do get some thunder and lightning. In fact, it's actually forecast for today. And at the top there's a tip, and I'm not sure about this one, but they used to have radioactive elements at the top there, and that sort of attracted the lightning, which would then go down the pole, and as you see in the corner there's a cable which will take it down to earth safely. But if it hit the structure here, it could do great damage. There's a big copper cable now going to take it down to earth. Just looking down to the town, Capdepera. Oh yes, the map here showing us where everything is.
Should we have a photo by these bells?
I think we should have our photo by the bells. See the defensive walls here. And then that's where the guards would be walking along, keeping an eye out. No safety rail. Lots of steps here. There's Anita negotiating the steps.
Rival bells.
And we come down this way, so that's the way we came up, and we're going to go down this way to take us to the chapel.
Be careful.
Yeah. It's very, very uneven and very windy. This is the chapel. It is quite dark inside, so I've taken a few photographs and I'll put those on at the end of the video. Just make our way down now. No coffee bar. The chapel used to have an image of Our Lady of Hope in 1569, a period when there were a great deal of incursions of Turkish pirates. A legend has it that a large host of Muslims came up to the coast. The inhabitants of the castle took Our Lady of Hope out in a procession around the area inside the walls, begging her for protection. After a while, the thick mist came up, which spread over the area, making it difficult for the Muslims to regroup and make their attack. The event is remembered every 18th of December, the Day of Hope, the patron saint, on their feast day. Well, we can't go up there. Go in that building. Is that the next one on the list? I'm going to go down and then make our way round. I was a little bit worried that the stones might be slippy, but it doesn't seem too bad. It's just the steepness that's the issue. Plenty of places you can sit down and enjoy the views if the weather wasn't so inclement. So pump there for water. So the walls and houses of the castle started to build at the same time. Later on, 4 towers, also used as dwellings, were built at the part which was most easily attacked, the sides giving on to the east and south. There's actually some nice gardens as well. There's one of the walls you can actually walk on there, and they've put a rail up. I think that was part of the original construction. It's coming down with a little bit of rain now. Got to make the most of it. Back up to the left, we'll have a look at that little museum. Up this very steep hill again. I think I'll catch you when I get to the top. Well, this is actually the governor's house from the 17th century, and the castle was gradually depopulated. Inhabitants settled outside the walls. In the 18th century, the establishment of the Bourbon dynasty in Spain led to a political and military restructuring. A permanent army controlled by professional soldiers, the dragoons, arrived at the castle, and they were commanded by a governor who took charge of the defence and vigilance of the coast and the inland areas. In 1856, the soldiers left the castle, so we'll go in. I'm not sure how light it is in there, we'll see. Various weaving industry products. Look at the size of that. I'm sure that would be for something like the carobs that would be collected from the trees, and still are. Just going up, there's 2 floors in this little exhibition hall, the old governor's house, and here we've got the little bit of the history. So we've got a little bit of the history of the islands and the area here, and the explanations are all in English as well. I'm not going to read all of that. I'll be here all day. Some copies of ancient documents. And this is in fact the treaty that I spoke about earlier on. And here we've got an indication of the other castles. This is the one we're at now. This is the one in Felanich, Baleares Castle, which is where we live. Virtually, we live just around Alaro Castle. Maybe going to visit that soon. And then Castle of the King in Boyensa. I'm not sure I know that one. And that's an aerial view of the castle that we're in now. This is the Castle of the King in Boyensa. I don't know this one. This is a model of the castle that we're in here in Capdepera.
It's a big area, isn't it?
Yeah. And this model shows what it would have been like when it was actually lived in, with all the houses around the walls here. And I'm guessing that this at one time might have been the entrance to somebody's house. Having looked at the models there, and there you can see where the soldiers, guards would have been able to walk around the very steep wall. The entrance and exit there, but we're just going to walk around this way a little bit, see some more of the buildings and parapets.
A bit like Pompeii, isn't it?
A bit old, well, not as old as Pompeii, but we're near actually. Capdepera Castle is an archaeological site which continues to be excavated and researched. The southern area of the wall between the access gateway and Jaime Gate is the part with the most remains still to be found. As time has gone by, a large amount of stones and earth were deposited here and have kept numerous remains of houses buried, some of which have been dug out and restored. Since the ancient times, the steep slope of the land has meant retaining walls have had to be built right around the area, sometimes using the original walls of the dwellings themselves, some visible fragments of which can be seen. Archaeological research allows us to get to know its history, how the inhabitants lived, how they survived attacks, or how they defended themselves, and also in time to discover the walled town which we have under our feet. Just climbing the walls there. Here's one of these, perhaps a dwelling. Got a window and a door. She's even got some bins. Over here we've got areas where it's roped off and they're still doing some excavations. I'll join Anita. Oh. And here we've got vaulted room, and they've got the bannered emblems here for the different, I don't know what they would call them. Anyway. Very narrow and steep staircase. Giving us another vantage point.
The rooftops of Capdepera. Can't see any solar panels anywhere. There's a big hole in that roof there.
There is a big hole in the roof down there.
Can't see any solar panels anywhere.
There's the church. We walked past the church coming here. It's got a big anchor on the front on this side.
So where have we parked?
Down there. We parked somewhere over there. That's the zigzag path that goes up. It's the governor's house, the tower, and beyond the tower is the chapel. And this is where some of the excavation is still going on, and well, you can start to make out there some of the dwellings that there must have been. I'm going to get myself down to the bottom and see what we can see along there. On this side we've got an elevated walkway which allows us to look down on the areas which are still being discovered, and here we can start to see the individual little homes, I guess they were.
Very big.
Not very big, but well, I guess they slept and ate and lived all in the same room.
These flowers down here, these are the gamonitas.
The gamonitas. Pile of rubble that's been excavated out. And that would be one of the corners. You can actually see some arches there and some holes where timbers would have been placed to support ceilings and roofs. And then we've got the gateway, so this would be one of the other entrances into this fortress.
It's like looks a bit like the inside of Adam's house.
And here we can see these little square holes. This is again where the roof timbers would have been. So that's gives you an idea of the height. A lot of them along here must have been filled in with cement over the years in an attempt to stabilise the walls. And I'm guessing this is a reconstructed building. Looks very modern and in good condition, but to give you an idea of the sort of building that would have been here all those years ago. Might be losing my hat in a minute. I think that's more or less it, isn't it?
Photo here.
Well, here we've got some quite good condition, showing the rooms. They are tiny, but I guess that's all they required, all they needed. Well, we have taken the plunge and walked along that wall there, and these are the rooms that I was showing you before. And the reason really, because we come around this way. The Ladies' Tower. Very dark in here. We can see out of some of these archers' holes.
That's where the lady archers shot.
I wonder. Very narrow that one is. It's only about 3 centimetres wide, 5 centimetres wide. In fact, they're all very narrow. And I'm guessing it's just too dark to look up. And you can see some post holes there, so there was actually another floor in here. I guess a ladder which would have taken you up to it. We can make our way out again. And we're looking now towards the exit. Shall we leave?
Yes.
Oh, downwards we go.
You find somewhere to have a coffee.
Coffee time. We've got to find a coffee place. Looks like a very old door. And we're out. Well, you might have guessed I do love my castles and things ancient, and this one lives up to expectations. Lots of ancient, lots of castle, and well, hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.